have over 5,000 wins on medium. I already got my amethyst badge, and this is one of my most requested videos to do a full tournament, walking you all through why I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it. This video is not intended for the Ruby hardcore crowd. If y'all are looking for Ruby based content, what to do in that scenario, there are a lot of great Ruby creators out there for you. That said, if you're just looking to improve on your own gameplay, this video is definitely for you. If you get this spawn on Skyway Stadium as a medium, one of the better ways to use your jump pad to get up to the vault is to put it on this vent here right outside the window. It gets you on top of the roof much faster than any other route and allows you to get advantage over the team that's going to push in from that east side. If it's safe, always try and open the vault as quickly as you can. You want to get that timer started so that you can let it open while you're fighting the enemy team. Here, with my teammate getting low, I just want to make sure I heal them up and make sure they're safe to push into that enemy. And then, with this enemy jumping up and putting their back to me, it makes it a very easy priority elimination for me. This CL is the last player on their team, so I can full send it. Normally, you don't want to full send eliminations and chase kills, but in this case, it's actually a good use of time because it's the only player alive, so all three of us can just push in for free without any real concern of going down. When you're rotating a vault to a cash out, it's really important to watch for squad wipe timers on other teams. This pink team just spawned, and they can either spawn on us or on the other cash out. They get here right as we do, and we're totally not ready for this fight. They got us caught out, and their heavy came through that wall and had a really good charge and slam on me. With both me and Poe going down, it's important for Skyfalls here to just stay alive. We have coins, we can use them, we can get back to the fight, but if he goes down, we full wipe, and it's a bigger issue for our team to come back from. So Sky does a really good job here of staying alive. I get a really good coin, and I'm pushing to try and support Sky as quick as I can. Throwing a grenade in just to try and open up the fight, and I get a really good hit on their heavy. The medium pushes down blindly to defib the heavy, which allows me to get an advantage on this team and put in some good shots on the other medium as well as the heavy. Cleaning up the heavy here and then the medium is really the best case scenario for us, and that's the value of staying alive as the last player on the team. If your teammates have more than one coin, it is important that you just focus on staying alive instead of trying to be the hero and getting eliminations. Teammates coining and coming back to the fight is better than wiping in most cases, because when you wipe, you don't have control or as much control over where you spawn. Collectively with coins, you're going to spawn at least decently close, relatively close to the objective that you're defending. But when you wipe, it's really just a coin flip at that point. So as long as you have the coins to spend, definitely use them. There's really no value in holding on to coins if you're going to get knocked out. Coins don't give you any value except for going through the next round. So when you're defending your cash out and you're waiting for the next team to push you, try and get height. Try and get the most advantageous position you can to see from every angle possible. You want to be able to be in front of where the team is going to rotate from, and if you're not looking at all directions they could show up from, you're likely going to miss the location that they're coming from and get yourself flanked or caught out. So in this case, right now, I'm just trying to focus on where the enemies are. I'm not trying to overextend, put myself into a bad spot, but that player pushing it underneath becomes a priority for us. The full team is either fully underneath at this point, or that enemy is peeled away from its team, making it a straggler that we can just all full send and eliminate. You never want to give up height unless you absolutely need to, but even if you need to give up height, you want to make sure you have somewhere you can get underneath and be out of sight from them. Height is such an advantage in all gunfights, so try and get height as much as possible in all your games. We're working through cleaning up this team here, looking for the last player when suddenly he jumps off the map. This is actually something I highly recommend you all think about doing in your games. If you're the last player alive and you don't have a cash out you're defending, and there's no vault that's open being run, the value of you trying to 1v3 or waiting for your teammates to coin, it's a negative value overall. There's really no use to trying to stay alive there. It's just a big waste of time. So jumping off the map and getting yourself eliminated, and now look at the purple team. Already spawned, and now they actually have a chance to make a play on either of these vaults. Whereas if they try and stay alive and try and fight through it, they would still be looking to respawn like around now. As we're fighting pink team for vault number 3, what you'll notice is that we all kind of end up splitting away from each other. And that's something that will ultimately be a downfall for any team. You really need to focus on sticking together, not taking individual fights, but taking team fights. If you let yourself push into the enemy team by yourself, and the other team is deciding to play together, you put yourself at a significant disadvantage. Especially if you get picked in that scenario, now your two teammates have to play around where you've gone down, and they have to put themselves into worse positions to try and get the res or to try and take on a team where they're now outnumbered and they don't have your capabilities of whatever you brought into the arena with. And total hands up accountability, like I definitely played my part in that too by getting distracted in my one-on-one fights, so all props to the pink team for playing that better cohesively as a team there. It's what ended up leading us to get team wiped, but that's okay, like that's gonna happen in games. Don't let that rattle you or your confidence for what you're gonna be able to do for the rest of the round. I see this happen a lot with teams that I'm playing in World Tour, is that they're a really good team and they start out strong and then they take one team wipe and it's like all of a sudden everything falls apart. And that's all mental. That's the mental side of the game. You have to really try and learn to be resilient to team wiping, to making mistakes and being able to kind of pick yourself back up, dust yourself off and know that you're still a good player. And just one mistake or one team wipe doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of the round. So as we're pushing in on this D point, we notice that the pink team is coming in. We're all really low on health, so I actually call out to my team to get inside. What we want to do here, since we're about to get third partied, is get inside. Let that third party push in on the orange team, heal up, get ourselves reset, reload our weapons, make sure our gadgets are good to go, and get ready to push back in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to become the team that's actually third partying, and this is a really good strategy if you're able to try and do it during games. If you see that there's a third-party team coming and you're not the defending team on the cash out, you can just peel away. Try and get away and hide or just make it look like you're about to disengage and let that team jump into the fight on their own. That team will almost always defocus you. They will start to fight each other and then you can wrap back around and become the team that third party. There's no reason for you to stay in the middle of those teams. It's very tough to get out of those situations, but you're totally in control most of the time, based on what you and your teammates decide to do. As we're trying to get this cash out, it's just a never-ending stream of enemies. It was a double cash out, so every team was here, and there's just no opportunity for us to make a good, reliable steal on the cash out. So now we're looking to reset. We don't need a coin. There's just under 2.5 minutes left in the round. We just want to try and get a reset here. Now, normally teams are going to peel away and you can just res and kind of go about your business. But in this case, the orange team is really determined to make sure that we can't get ourselves picked back up. And so they're sticking around. This is a really good call by the orange team. We're the ones that are just right behind them in terms of score. So we're the ones that are the most possible to pass them. And so they're doing a really smart job here of making sure that we get wiped and taking that full reset penalty. It's not the end of the world, like I was saying earlier. Like, taking a team wipe is not the end of the world. Just kind of think about what the next steps are for you and your teammates when you get respawned back in. So here we notice that the vault is being pushed to a cash out behind us, and we got a really golden spawn for that. So a little bit of luck on our side here, and this purple team jumps down unknowingly right into us. Working on just getting the elimination in the field here, I get a little bit of luck for the fact that that purple is just kind of missing their shots. Maybe my wiggle is a little bit too good for them. So here I kind of take a look at the time left, and there's still a bunch of time left in normal time, but I want to talk about this anyway. Keep in mind that the regular timer that's counting down the 40 seconds that you see that's regular time left in the match, once that goes to 0, this cash out disappears. And the only one that's on the map is the one that's at the other side of the map. So you really want to pay attention to that regular timer, especially if you're trying to get a vault plugged in, because now that we've plugged this in, it allows us to have a higher chance of success for getting through to the next round. If the cash out was doubled, then it would mean that every team would need to get that cash out with the exception of pink. Pink would be the only safe team if it was doubled. With this cash out being split, it means that every team is fighting to ensure that they can get a cash out. Pink needs to make sure that they get at least one of them, because my team or the orange team can pass them if we both get our cash outs, and they will get knocked out. So it's really important here for everybody to try for the cash out, and that's the value of splitting the cash outs at the end of the round. It gives us less enemies to have to worry about and a higher chances of success overall. Now, I know frag grenades are not meta for medium, but this is a big reason for why I love frag grenades. You can get an enemy low that's super deep and out of your sight, and throwing one good frag grenade can get that pick and get that elimination. And it turns the fight on its head. It totally takes away their power position and gives it to you. After getting the pick on the roof, we notice that the pink team is trying to come in and set up for a steal. With them putting the goo down in front of the cash out, I saw the fire barrel, and I want to overextend here to make sure I get fire onto that goo. Putting fire onto the goo walls ensures that pink or anybody else that tries to steal has no cover, and they have no safety for trying to get a steal. They'll be totally exposed, and I don't want them to have any chance of success if they go for it. So in this case, my teammates just need to focus on stalling out one time We don't need to push in on the cash out. We don't need to do anything crazy. We're in a good spot. There's a bunch of teams fighting here. So we really just need to worry about that single stall. And then thankfully here, we're able to get that finished up and qualify to go to the next round. Now, something important happens here I want to point out, and it's really weird, but it's going to matter in this next round. Look at our coins. We have 4 total coins, and so does the orange team. But for whatever reason, when we go into this next round, both us and the orange team get all of our revive tokens taken away from us. This ends up having an impact on the next game, so I wanted you to be aware of it ahead of time. So look, now that we're spawning in, look at that. We have no coins. I thought it was just the scoreboard loading in and it was just a bug, but this is truly what ended up happening. Us and orange team, for whatever reason, came into this next round without any coins. So some weird bug we hit. So not only did we lose the coins that we had from the last round, but we also lose the coins we are supposed to be given by making it into this round. So we end up losing 7 total coins, which is a pretty big impact overall. This changes the dynamic for us. We really need to focus on playing more together as a team because we're going to have to hand revive or defib every time we go down. So pushing in on vault number 2, it's the orange team from the last round, so we know that they're a really good team and we're trying to play it a little safe. I noticed that the orange team is fully tunneling onto my 2 heavies, and I noticed that this left side flank is fairly open. So I go to get a peek to see if it's a viable strategy, and I can tell that they're really not looking at all to this side. I use this crouch roll here to get behind them, and it gives me a great flank, and I'm able to get a pick on the light. The minute I get focused by the medium, I need to duck back out to get myself to safety, and then I miss some shots there, and unfortunately when I throw the grenade trying to get the light on the res, I also miss that and it doesn't hit. I start to jump to try and heal my teammates, thinking that it was just a single gas cloud, but it ended up being a double gas cloud, and I couldn't sustain the damage going through it. So a really good gas grenade by the enemy team there to cover the entire hallway, and that's just a misplay by myself to not understand that there was multiple gas clouds there that I couldn't get through. So like I said earlier, it's no big deal. Just take the reset and take on the next fight. We're going to push back on a vault 2 and just take that fight again. As we're pushing over, just keeping an eye out to see if anybody's straggling from behind or if they're watching us from any angle we're not expecting. Using dome shield down preemptively is always good when you're trying to figure out where people are just to ensure that you're safe. It also ends up baiting out this glitch grenade in this fight early. There's no real risk to us being glitched here, and now that glitch grenade is on cooldown for the enemy team. So they only have 1 glitch grenade to use now, which is actually good use of our dome shield early on. You'll notice that I often stay behind my 2 heavy teammates, and this is something I recommend you do in all of your games as well, especially being a heal beam medium. There's no value for me to push in first. I should be behind, ensuring that I can protect and heal at my team. But then also, if you have heavies on your team and or you're the heavy on your team, it's really important that you push in first because you can take the most damage and you can sustain the most damage. So something I want to call out here, remember at the beginning of the match I said that we don't have any coins and neither does orange. So keep in mind that if orange had their coins here, they would also have the defender bonus. They'd be able to use a coin within 15 seconds of going down while they own the cash out. And now, because they literally do not have coins to use, they can't coin back in. They're totally stuck here, and that's not on them at all. That's just some weird bug that happened, and it's just really unfortunate for them. They would already be coining and coming back into this fight. Now they're just kind of stuck waiting for the teammates to come and revive if they can. And me and my teammates are doing a good job of kind of baiting them out, with the exception of me getting stuck in that goo. We have a great push onto that team and we keep them separated so they can't get revived, and that ends up getting us this cash out for the most part. So it's really unfortunate for orange that that's the hand they got dealt. I'll be honest, the game really kind of screwed them over there. Not just a little bit, but a lot of bit. And it's totally not their fault. So it's a tough experience to go through. And we fortunately just came out on the better side of that. So now with only 30 seconds left on this cash out, any team that spawns, if it's purple and or orange, they'll only have a dive on this. So our goal is not to push out, not to get into a fight, not to put ourselves at risk. And so when I start taking damage, you're going to notice that I'll dive away and I get back towards the cash out. My only goal here is to protect the cash out. As long as I protect the cash out, it doesn't matter what happens next, because we'll get the cash out and then we can just figure out what the right next step is. The orange team is trying a full dive. There's not a whole lot they can do though. They just don't have enough time to do anything effective. We get an absolute golden spawn after the wipe, and this vault's jumping right up into us, so it literally falls right into our hands. Pink team's not expecting it, we're kind of not expecting it, and it gives us such a great opportunity for this vault. The Poe jumps down on this flamethrower, gets him low, and I follow up to finish him off. Just one melee gets it done, and then I revive Poe, and we're going to go back up top. If you're heal beam medium and you're defibbing your teammates alive, always stay around to make sure that you heal them up after the defib. As we're pushing back up top, I notice that the pink team comes for this trophy. I see them out of the corner of my eye, and I thought they took the jump pad, but turns out they were just sitting behind this piece of cover. Sky gets a pick on the guy inside by the cash out, and we get the pick out here, so we get the full team wipe on pink. So we got a really lucky spawn there, but works out in our favor and puts us into a good position. Now for defending this cash out with only 3.5 minutes left in this game, and this actual cash out is going to take 1.5 minutes to finish up. We're in a good spot as long as we keep control of this and we don't lose this cash out. So setting up some defenses here, keeping ourselves inside, out of sight, and just waiting to see where the enemy team is going to come from, and then we'll decide what to do from there. With the floor getting blown down, the cash out falling, we know that they're underneath, so trying to get a little look to see where they are, and I get a great look on this purple player because of the building collapsing. And then notice that even though I got purple super low, I don't chase that elimination. I stay up top, I stay safe, because that's the better play as a team. If I were to push down in that area where that player was, I only know where the medium is. I don't know where their light is, I don't know where the other player is. And so it's super risky dive, and there's no value for me to take that dive when my full team's up. We have the height advantage, we have the cash out advantage, and it's just all risk for no real reward. You saw me take out the turret right there. That's something that I like to do as I'm playing. I'm big on focusing down turrets whenever I can. In my experience in the games that I play, not a lot of players will prioritize taking out turrets, and so I make it a part of my playstyle to take out turrets whenever I can. And obviously it's a balance when you want to do that. Like, you shouldn't be trying to take out a turret if you're getting shot by a player. Like, the player is definitely the priority of the two, but if you're able to take a few seconds, just put some shots on the turret and take it down, it makes such a big difference. Because then you're not taking that chip damage, you're not getting shot in the back randomly. You know, you just take away their entire value of that player's specialization. Any good finals player knows that when you're sitting in between enemy pushes at a cash out, you always troll with props. Now we're in a really good spot to go through in this next round. So as we're pushing over to this next vault, getting control of it's important. We definitely want to try and plug it if we can. With this purple team struggling, just trying to finish up that elim, and then gonna rotate over to 6 here. With only 1.5 minutes left, getting this plug will put us in first place, assuming that pink doesn't plug too, and will almost actually make us guaranteed to go through. And if we're in that position, we're in that first place position, we want to make sure that it gets double. Because if you're in first and you double, it means that no matter what, you're definitely going through, because only one team can pass you and you're guaranteed first or second. So working on number 6 here with Poe, we both think we hear some footsteps, but this team does a really great job of stopping all of their noise simultaneously. So I actually thought that I was tripping out and I didn't actually hear any footsteps, but no, this orange team was just very, very good about all stopping together and totally silencing themselves. So props to the orange team there. I make a big mistake and give it the ball, and now we're looking at having a full team wipe and having to wait for this reset. And as you notice as well, pink got their cash out in, so with these getting split now, it puts us at risk, and we need to make sure that we get one of these cash outs. This is another moment where I see a lot of players panic. Take a breath, remember that you know what you're doing and you know exactly what your win condition is, and go into the next fight with confidence. Orange plugging is not too terrible for us because they're only going to be able to get up to 32,000 with the 16,000 they have, and then the 18k they get from the cash out itself. So 3 eliminations and we'll be in a spot that the orange team can't pass us, saying that they don't get eliminations too. So this next fight is super important. With less than 1.5 minutes in the game, we don't have time to wipe. We don't have time to go down. We don't have time to reset. We really don't have any room to make any mistakes. So we're playing really reserved and cautious here, just trying to chip some damage, trying to get control of this fight. Orange team is trying to do the same thing, just trying to make sure that we don't have any health to push into them with. And they keep us pushed back pretty good. Sky starts pushing underneath and the enemy team doesn't have any idea that he's there, and so Poe follows suit and goes underneath behind Sky. I stay up over here so that they're split on their attention, split between the two of us, and they have to either focus me or them. If they don't continue to focus me, it means that I can push in on them and get shots on them for free. And if they don't focus the players underneath, my teammates, it does the same thing. So once Poe and Sky get low and then I also get low, I decide it's time to regroup with my team. What I do next is a really risky play, and I don't necessarily recommend that most players do this, but I'm split pushing with my team to continue doing what I was talking about earlier. Dividing their attention, dividing their focus, and forcing them to make a choice between coming for me or going for my teammates. By doing that, I'm actually able to get them to focus on me, which they shouldn't have done. And the second that they do that, Skyfall starts to steal. So now they're caught out. They're not able to get back in time. And we're able to get that cash out stolen for free. And that's all because I was able to get them to split their attention in that split second moment. We end up clutching it out, and now we're going to go into the final round. And we also knocked out that orange team, which I said kind of going into this was a really, really good and competent team. So now that we came into this round, notice that we actually do have coins. We all have 1 coin now. So thankfully that same bug from the first round doesn't affect us here, and it gives us a little bit of flexibility in this actual final round. You would be surprised at how important it is to make sure that you have at least 1 coin in the final round. Not having coins in the final round, the 3v3 scenario, is likely the worst thing you can do as a teammate. Not having any way to revive yourself means that the enemy team has the advantage over you. And that's because they can see on the scoreboard that you do not have coins, and once you go down, they can just camp your trophy. It forces your team to either take a disadvantaged fight in a 2v3, or it forces you to try and take a dive onto the trophy to get the res. And that's a risky dive because the enemy team is fully watching it and fully camping it. So keep in mind that keeping your coins going into the final round is really important. But worst case scenario, make sure that you have at least 1. So with this establishing fight here in the beginning, we're really just trying to poke and do damage and take control of the game. And not trying to overextend, not do anything extra, not trying to do anything special, just really focusing on the mechanics of getting eliminations and keeping ourselves alive. So see what happens with this pink heavy. They overextend, they push into me and Sky, they get themselves picked off, and now they're down. After getting the pick on the heavy, I'm trying to rotate over to Sky to get him healed, but with this gas collide being there, it makes it challenging for me to do that. He's okay, he's safe, he's starting to regen, so it's not a big deal. With Poe going down on the other side, he's calling out that the light's about to push over. I see the light on the zip line, and I get a really good shot with the revolver, and then clean up the elimination there. Now it's a 2v1. Sky's got the final player on him. So just taking it slow and steady with my shots, and we get that cleaned up. So the only issue here is that we didn't pop the vault as we got over there. So now we're going to have to wait for the full timer for it to open, and by that time, the enemy team is going to spawn. So the enemy team has actually a little bit of a benefit there, and the fact that we're not able to move the vault, we're not able to get it plugged while they're respawning. We kind of just have to wait and take another fight before we're able to get this plugged back in. So like I said at the start of this, always try and pop the vault when it's safe to do so. It's really important to get that timer started so you're not stuck in the position that we're in now. A little bit of a miscommunication here. I thought we were going to go over to B because it's inside and it's really close quarters, which is great for my 2 heavies. But they want to take it to this other cash out in hotel, which is also going to be inside. So it's still just as good for the heavies, and it's a great cash out for us to defend. With them getting a pick there, I'm going to just go and run this vault to try and get it plugged in. It's really important, just like with the vault, to get the cash out plugged in and get that timer started. The more time that you can get onto the cash out with a team being staggered is essentially just free time that you're getting to complete it. Having a team be staggered is one of the best things that you can do in a final round. It's almost better than wiping them and letting them reset. Keeping them staggered, forcing them to coin, forcing them to take dives onto their players that they're trying to res is almost more advantageous than letting them get a full reset and come back all together. So with Sky going down, I'm trying to push in to get some help with Poe, but I don't want to overextend. I don't know where any of the players are, so it's important that I try and play patiently and not push in and get myself into a bad spot. I'm trying to get to Poe here so I can heal him. I'm able to get a little bit of the healing here on the balcony before he falls down, and then he ends up getting into a fight here on the stairs. So I'm trying to rotate over. He calls out that the player's low, and that player decides to disengage. I could try and chase that player, but there's no need to. I can just revive Poe, and then Sky ends up coining here. And like I was talking about at the beginning of the round, coins are really important to have in a final round. So it's a debatable choice to coin in there, especially when the team disengaged and went for the cash out and left us here to res for free. We could have just revived him. He would still have his coin now, but that's something we're going to have to watch for as this round goes on. So we have just under a minute to push onto the cash out. Plenty of time. I see a lot of teams make the mistake of thinking they don't have enough time, panic and full send, and then end up wiping and really giving themselves no opportunity for getting the cash out. With my teammate going down and I don't have defib, I gotta just try for the hand res. It's super risky. I hear the heavy in the stairs, but I'm able to get it off. I turn this corner and everybody's there, so I look to disengage, and then nobody chases me, which is a really weird call by Pink. I'm able to just turn right around and add some damage back onto them. So one of those players should have definitely chased me there and made sure that I fully disengaged. But because they didn't, we were able to take full advantage, and now Sky is just going to stick this steal. This is something that you should do, especially when you have the advantage of one enemy player being alive when your whole team is still up. Have somebody steal, protect that player stealing it. That's the best choice. You don't need to try and chase down that elim. You don't need to try and, play the hero. Get the cash out stolen and make sure that you have control of it so that when it does tick out, you're able to get the cash out and the enemy team doesn't have a chance of getting it back. So we're just rotating over to Vault 2. The enemy team is going to spawn in 5 seconds or so. We're definitely going to have to fight them again here at Vault 2. So again, just making sure that I get the vault popped as soon as possible while it's still safe to do so. Get that timer started and then getting high ground. You'll notice we all try and take height positions here to figure out where they're coming from. I end up seeing a pink here behind the rock, and they get some phenomenal shots on me with the V9S, and so I disengage and fall back to my team. I drop into the attic here, just trying to keep myself safe and get my health back. Sky jumps over to this other building, and Poe's giving him some covering fire. Sky's able to get that elim, but then he gets picked, so I'm trying to get into this window so I can defib him here. And then I make a mistake by climbing up the ladder. I recommend never climbing ladders. They're not actually there to help you. I think they're honestly just a trap that's put into the game. I'm able to get one headshot on light here before I go down, so they're really low. Sky's able to get a great angle and finish that up. Poe gets his elimination, so now it's just one player remaining. So now it's just a bunch of hand reviving, and we're in a good spot to move the vault and move to the next cash out. The enemy team's going to spawn, so we're anticipating a fight pretty quickly here. But we're working on getting it plugged in so we can get ourselves set up and put some defenses down and put some stall in the cash out, and then figure out where they're coming from. I don't see them at mansion, which means that they're coming from one of the other sides. They're also not coming from the jump pads. So they're somewhere on the north or to the east. I'm hearing explosions, I'm seeing explosions, but I don't actually see the enemy. So just waiting until we understand where they're coming from. We're working on getting the cash out winched off the roof. We want to try and get it down to the ground as low as possible, and then we see that this player is using the elevator. I don't recommend using the elevator when you need to ascend a building, especially when a team is defending it. The sound of the elevator is so loud, it's hard to do it in any sort of a sneaky way. So again, just staying up on height, keeping the advantage, not overextending, just keeping the power position on this team. And with Sky going down on the stairs, just trying to get rid of the enemy player's chuck so they have no sustain. And then getting the defib on Sky, and as a heal beam medium, like I was saying earlier, make sure you stay by the player that you defib to heal them because they're the most at risk of going right back down. And then notice here I don't try and do any damage. I don't try and play the hero. All I'm doing is just surviving myself and making sure that my heal beam sticks to the heavies so that they can do damage. So I fall off the building here. It's definitely not an intentional thing. I was trying to jump on the awning so I can get back on the roof. So just working to get back up top. And while I said earlier you shouldn't use the elevator, now is the best time for you to do it. With everybody being wiped on the map, there is no risk. And you don't want to use a movement ability now. You want to save that movement ability for when the actual fight comes. So there's only just over 30 seconds left here. The enemy team doesn't have a whole lot of options. They have to take a risky dive on this. We're able to get a big winch on the cash out, and it puts it very, very low on the map for us, and it puts it into a great position for us to defend. So using this goo barrel to create a little bit of a safety wall for me, and now I'm just going to hard watch this cash out. Like I said earlier, they have to take a very, very risky dive, and this player tries to take that dive and just gets themselves eliminated. So now everybody's falling in on this cash out, and they actually do start the steal in time, but they're totally exposed. They have no way to protect themselves, and there's no way that they can actually get the steal completed. So finishing up the eliminations here and then stacking up that tournament win. And then another bug that you'll see here is that our player cards, it's like we're missing the entire first round. So whatever affected our coins is affecting our player cards here. So we have weird looking stats, but we all did better than what's actually shown here. Anyway, that's a look at how to play medium in a full tournament. And I have over 5k wins on my medium, as you can see with my badges here. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the comments. I'm happy to answer as best as I can and give you any sort of insights that you might be looking for. That's going to be it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.